Welcome to the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Enjoy the listening. A simple engineer. Maya Chen wiped the sweat from her brow as she crawled through the narrow maintenance shaft of the aging orbital station. The hum of machinery surrounded her, punctuated by the occasional hiss of steam vents and crackle of aging wiring. At 28, she was the youngest lead engineer on Orbital Station Delta, though most days that felt more like a curse than an achievement. "Hey Maya, we've got another pressure drop in Section 7, came the crackled voice of her assistant Tom through her earpiece. "Looks like those patches from last week aren't holding." Maya sighed, carefully backing out of the shaft. "Add it to the list. We're running out of spare parts faster than Central Command can send replacements." She emerged into the main corridor, her coveralls stained with grease and coolant. The station's stark lighting cast harsh shadows across the worn metal walls, telling the story of 30 years of continuous operation. The year was 2157, and humanity had managed to establish a network of orbital stations around Earth. They weren't pretty or particularly advanced, but they kept running thanks to engineers like Maya who understood that sometimes the best solutions weren't the most elegant ones. As she made her way to Section 7, the station's warning system suddenly blared to life. Red emergency lights began pulsing along the corridors. "Unidentified object approaching at high velocity," announced the automated system. "All personnel to emergency stations." Maya's tablet lit up with incoming data. Whatever was approaching wasn't following any known trajectory patterns. It was also far too fast to be space debris. "Tom, what are you seeing?" she called into her comm. "It's... Maya, you need to see this. It's decelerating. That's impossible at those speeds without..." The rest of his words were drowned out by a deep vibration that shook the entire station. Maya grabbed a handrail to steady herself, watching in astonishment as the emergency lights shifted from red to an ethereal purple. Through the nearest viewport, she saw it, a vessel unlike anything human engineers had ever conceived. It was organic in shape, almost fluid, with surfaces that seemed to ripple and flow like liquid metal. The ship, if that's what it was, had matched velocity with the station perfectly. "This is First Speaker HFY Thor of the Galactic Concordat," came a voice through every speaker and device on the station. "We come seeking the one designated as Maya Chen." Maya's heart nearly stopped. She looked around, half expecting this to be some elaborate prank, but the awe and confusion on her fellow crew members' faces told her this was very real. "The station is yours to command, Engineer Chen," continued the voice. "Our scans indicate you possess the inherent qualities necessary for what is to come." What?" Maya stammered, before remembering her position. She straightened up, keying her comm to broadcast. "This is Maya Chen. I'm the lead engineer on this station. What exactly do you mean it's mine to command?" A shimmer of light appeared in the corridor before her, coalescing into a tall, elegant figure. The alien, because what else could it be, stood nearly 8 feet tall, with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to contain swirling galaxies. "Engineer Chen," HFY Thor spoke, its voice somehow both powerful and gentle. "Your species stands at a crossroads. The Concordat has been watching humanity's progress, particularly your remarkable ability to maintain these stations, despite limited resources and technology. You, specifically, have caught our attention." Maya found herself taking a step forward, her engineer's curiosity overriding her fear. "Our maintenance solutions aren't exactly elegant. We make do with what we have." The alien's expression shifted in what might have been a smile. "Precisely. The Concordat values innovation born of necessity. Your solutions, while perhaps inelegant by some standards, demonstrate a creativity and resourcefulness that we believe is essential for the challenges ahead." "What challenges?" Maya asked, suddenly aware that the entire station's crew was listening. "The galaxy is changing, Engineer Chen. Old alliances are fracturing. New threats emerge from the dark spaces between stars. We believe humanity's unique perspective, your perspective, could be vital in the times to come. The Concordat offers you command not just of this station, but of a fleet of vessels equipped with technology beyond your current understanding. Maya looked around at her station, her home. At the patches and repairs, the jury-rigged solutions and makeshift fixes that kept everyone alive. Why me? I'm just an engineer. HFY Thor's eyes seemed to pulse with starlight. There are many who can command through authority. Fewer who can lead through understanding. You understand the heart of machines, the pulse of systems, the delicate balance between efficiency and reliability. These are the qualities we seek. A holographic display appeared between them, showing vessels that defied Maya's comprehension of physics. These ships require more than just a commander. They need someone who can feel their rhythms, adapt their systems, and improvise solutions when standard protocols fail. They need an engineer's touch. Maya studied the display, her mind already racing with questions about how such technologies functioned. She caught herself and almost laughed. Here she was, faced with first contact, being offered command of an alien fleet, and her first instinct was to wonder about their maintenance schedules. If I accept, she said carefully, what happens to this station? To Earth? Your world remains autonomous, but gains the Concordat's protection and technology sharing agreements. This station would be upgraded, becoming a hub for human Concordat relations. Your current crew, should they choose, would join you in your new role. Maya looked at her grease-stained hands, then back at the magnificent being before her. You're trusting an awful lot to someone who spent this morning crawling through maintenance shafts. Perhaps, HFY Thor replied, that is exactly why we trust you. The station hummed around them, its aging systems continuing their endless work. Maya felt its familiar vibrations through her boots, not so different, she realized, from the subtle pulse she could feel emanating from the alien vessel outside. She squared her shoulders, making a decision that would change not just her life, but the course of human history. I have conditions, she said firmly. First, I need complete technical documentation of all systems I'll be responsible for. Second, I choose my own team. And third, she allowed herself a small smile, I want to understand exactly how that ship of yours manages to pull off that impossible deceleration. HFY Thor's eyes sparkled with what was definitely amusement now. Engineer Chen, I believe this is the beginning of a most interesting partnership. As alarms continued to blare and her crew watched in amazement, Maya Chen, lead engineer of an aging orbital station, took her first step toward becoming something far more. The galaxy, it seemed, needed not just warriors or diplomats, but someone who understood that sometimes the most important solutions came from the unlikeliest places. And if that meant she'd be the first human to command an alien fleet? Well, she'd faced bigger engineering challenges before. Probably. Maybe. She'd figure it out, she always did. First command. The Concordat vessel's command center was nothing like Maya had imagined. Instead of the stark, militaristic bridge she'd expected, she found herself in a space that felt almost organic. Curved surfaces flowed into one another, and holographic displays floated freely in the air, responding to the slightest gesture. This is different, she muttered, running her hand along what appeared to be a living console. The surface rippled at her touch, displays reorganizing themselves to better suit her height and reading preferences. Behind her, Tom whistled in appreciation. She'd chosen her former assistant as part of her core crew, along with a handful of other station engineers who'd volunteered to join this adventure. They all wore the same expression of wonder mixed with professional curiosity. The ship's systems are partially biological, explained Kira, their assigned Concordat liaison. The alien was shorter than HFY Thor, with silvery skin that seemed to shimmer in the ambient light. They adapt to their users over time, learning preferences and optimizing interfaces. Maya nodded, her mind already racing with questions about maintenance and repair procedures for biomechanical systems. What happens if dash? A sudden alarm cut her off. Holographic displays flared to life around them, showing a nearby sector of space where something was very wrong. Distress signal detected, announced the ship's AI in a melodious voice. Civilian transport under attack by unknown vessels. Kira's skin paled slightly. Pirates. They've become increasingly bold in this sector. This will be your first test, Commander Chen. Maya felt her crew's eyes on her. This wasn't a maintenance issue she could solve with duct tape and clever welding. People's lives were at stake. Show me the tactical display, she ordered, surprised at how steady her voice sounded. A three-dimensional map materialized before her, showing 3 predatory-looking ships harassing a bulkier transport vessel. Maya studied the display, her engineer's mind breaking down the problem into components. Those attack ships, what's their primary power source? Kira blinked in surprise at the unexpected question. Standard fusion drives with quantum enhancement cores. And they're pushing their engines hard to maintain that attack pattern, Maya observed, pointing to the energy readings. Tom, remember that pressure problem we had in Section 7 last month? Tom's eyes lit up. The one where we had to vent plasma to prevent overload? Oh, that's clever. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Ship, can you generate a focused electromagnetic pulse that would interfere with their quantum cores? Affirmative, the AI responded. Though such an attack would be expected. Pirates typically have shielding against conventional EMP weapons. We're not going to attack them directly, Maya explained, her fingers dancing across the living console. We're going to use their own engines against them. Look at their attack pattern, they're circling their target, pushing their engines to maintain speed. If we time this right. She quickly outlined her plan. It wasn't elegant. It certainly wasn't what anyone would expect from an advanced alien vessel. But sometimes the best solutions came from understanding basic engineering principles. The Concordat ship moved into position, its superior technology allowing it to remain undetected. Maya watched the tactical display, counting down in her head. Now, she commanded. Their ship released a precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulse, not at the pirates, but at the space they were about to enter. The pulse itself wasn't strong enough to penetrate their shields, but it didn't need to be. The pirates' engines, already straining at full power, hit the electromagnetically charged space. The quantum cores hiccuped just for a split second, but at those speeds, that was all it took. Their own momentum sent them spinning out of formation, shields flickering as their power systems struggled to compensate. Target their weapons systems while they're destabilized, Maya ordered. Minimal force, we want them disabled, not destroyed. The Concordat ship's weapons were precise and devastating. Within moments, the pirate vessels were drifting helplessly, their weapons and engines offline. Transport vessel secured, reported the AI. No casualties. Receiving thanks from the civilian crew. Maya let out a breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Contact local authorities for pickup of our disabled friends. And let's make sure that transport gets safely to its destination. She turned to find Kira staring at her with an unreadable expression. Was that satisfactory? The alien's skin rippled with what Maya was learning to recognize as amusement. Commander Chen, in all my years serving with the Concordat, I have never seen anyone use a ship of this caliber to essentially create a cosmic pothole. Sometimes simple solutions are the best solutions, Maya shrugged. Any half-decent pirate crew would have countermeasures against direct attacks. But they weren't expecting someone to think like a maintenance engineer. Indeed, Kira agreed. Though I suspect we'll need to adjust our tactical training programs. Your unique perspective will require some adaptation. Over the next few hours, as they escorted the transport to safety and coordinated with local authorities, Maya found herself growing more comfortable with her new role. The ship's organic systems were fascinating, responding to her thoughts and commands with increasing efficiency. You know, Tom commented as they reviewed the incident logs, back on the station, we were just trying to keep things from falling apart. Now we're out here, protecting people, making a real difference. Maya nodded, watching the holographic displays dance around them. Different problems, same principles. Understand the systems, find the weak points, and sometimes the simplest solution is the best one. Even if that solution involves turning pirates into their own worst enemies? Tom grinned. Especially then, Maya laughed. Though I should probably start reading those tactical manuals Kira keeps sending me. Something tells me we can't solve every problem with creative engineering. I wouldn't be so sure, came Kira's voice as the alien joined them. The Concordat chose you precisely because you think differently. Your solution today saved lives without causing unnecessary destruction. That is exactly the kind of leadership we need. Maya turned back to the command displays, watching as her crew, human and alien alike, worked together seamlessly. They had a long way to go, and she had much to learn. But maybe, just maybe, being a simple engineer was exactly what this job needed. Right then, she said, straightening her shoulders. Let's see what other problems need solving out there. The ship hummed around them, its biological systems pulsing with life and possibility. Somewhere out in the vast expanse of space, more challenges awaited. But Maya Chen, former station engineer turned Concordat commander, was ready to face them one creative solution at a time. The adaptive edge. 3 months into her command, Maya found herself facing a challenge no engineering manual had prepared her for: diplomacy. The Concordat ship, which she'd named Adaptable, much to Kira's amusement, hovered at the edge of a disputed system where 2 alien species were on the brink of war. The Vexen claimed the asteroid belt contained sacred artifacts, Kira explained, displaying holographic images of crystalline structures embedded in the rocks. The Meridians wished to mine the resources. Both sides have valid treaties with the Concordat. Maya studied the tactical display, watching the 2 opposing fleets face off. The Vexen ships were organic, almost jellyfish-like in appearance, while the Meridian vessels were all sharp angles and industrial efficiency. Show me the composition of those asteroids, she requested. The display shifted, revealing complex mineral patterns. Something caught her eye. Wait, magnify that energy signature. Tom, who'd become her unofficial second-in-command, leaned in. That's odd. The crystals aren't just artifacts, they're active. They're resonating with something. Maya's mind raced, connecting dots. Ship, can you analyze the frequency of those resonances? Compare them to known energy patterns in our database. The AI processed for a moment. Analysis complete. The crystal formations appear to be part of an ancient navigation network. They are still actively transmitting data, though the purpose is unclear. A navigation network? Maya mused. Through an asteroid belt? That doesn't make sense unless... She straightened suddenly. Unless the asteroids weren't always here. Computer, show me the projected positions of these bodies over the past 1,000 years. The holographic display animated, showing the asteroid belt's movement. Maya's eyes widened as the pattern became clear. It's not just a belt, it's a message, she breathed. The asteroids are arranged in a specific pattern, moving slowly over centuries. The crystals are waypoints, telling a story in 3-dimensional space. Kira's skin rippled with interest. How does this help our current situation? Maya turned to her crew, excitement building. Don't you see? Both sides are right. The Vexen sensed the spiritual importance of these crystals because they're part of an ancient communication system. The Meridians detected the valuable resources because the entire belt is essentially a massive data storage device. She keyed the communication system. This is Commander Chen of the Concordat vessel Adaptable. I request an immediate conference with both Vexen and Meridian leadership. We have information that concerns you both. To everyone's surprise, both sides agreed. Within hours, Maya found herself mediating between a Vexen elder, who appeared as a floating cloud of bioluminescent particles, and a Meridian director, whose mechanical exoskeleton hummed with barely contained power. Esteemed leaders, Maya began, trying to channel her inner diplomat. Your conflict stems from seeing 2 different aspects of the same truth. These asteroids are both a sacred archive and a technological marvel. She displayed her findings, showing how the crystal formations worked together to store and transmit vast amounts of data. The ancient civilization that built this didn't just leave artifacts, they left a library written in the language of gravity and light. The Vexen Elder pulsed with intense colors. You speak truth. We have felt the songs of the stones, but never understood their full meaning. The engineering principles are fascinating, the Meridian director admitted. A data storage system that uses astronomical bodies as its medium, the technical applications are enormous. Maya saw her opening. Then perhaps there's a way forward that honors both your people's interests. The Meridians have the technical expertise to help decode this information. The Vexen have the spiritual connection to interpret its deeper meaning. Together, you could unlock secrets that neither side could access alone. She held her breath as the two leaders considered her words. The tension in the room was palpable. Finally, the Vexen Elder spoke. We would be willing to discuss a collaborative effort. Under strict protocols for preservation and mutual benefit, the Meridian director added cautiously. As the two leaders began discussing terms, Kira pulled Maya aside. That was unexpected. Most would have attempted to enforce a simple territorial division. Maya shrugged. Engineers learn to look for hidden connections. Sometimes the best solution isn't about dividing resources, it's about finding ways to make different systems work together. Over the next few days, Maya and her crew helped establish protocols for the joint Vexen Meridian Research Initiative. The asteroid belt was transformed from a point of conflict to a symbol of cooperation, with ships from both species working together to unravel its ancient mysteries. You know, Tom commented as they prepared to leave the system, when we were fixing pressure leaks on the station, I never thought we'd end up preventing an interstellar war. Maya watched the combined fleet working harmoniously among the asteroids. In a way, we're still doing the same thing, finding problems, understanding systems, and patching things up. The scale is just a bit bigger. Speaking of bigger problems, Kira interrupted, we're receiving reports of unusual activity in the Cygnus sector. Something about spatial anomalies affecting civilian shipping lanes. Maya nodded, already feeling her mind shift into problem-solving mode. Send all the data to my console. Let's see what kind of engineering challenge we're dealing with this time. As Adaptable prepared to jump to its next destination, Maya reflected on how far she'd come from her days crawling through maintenance shafts. The galaxy was full of wonders and dangers, but at its core, every problem was just another system waiting to be understood. Set course for the Cygnus sector, she commanded. Let's see what needs fixing out there. The ship pulsed with acknowledgement, its organic systems now perfectly attuned to her. In the vast expanse of space, a former station engineer had found her calling not just as a commander, but as someone who could see the connections others missed, finding solutions in the most unexpected places. And somewhere out there, new challenges awaited, ready to test her unique blend of technical insight and human ingenuity. Under strict protocols for preservation and mutual benefit, the Meridian director added cautiously. As the two leaders began discussing terms, Kira pulled Maya aside. That was unexpected. Most would have attempted to enforce a simple territorial division. Maya shrugged. Engineers learn to look for hidden connections. Sometimes the best solution isn't about dividing resources, it's about finding ways to make different systems work together. Over the next few days, Maya and her crew helped establish protocols for the joint Vexen Meridian Research Initiative. The asteroid belt was transformed from a point of conflict to a symbol of cooperation, with ships from both species working together to unravel its ancient mysteries. You know, Tom commented as they prepared to leave the system, when we were fixing pressure leaks on the station, I never thought we'd end up preventing an interstellar war. Maya watched the combined fleet working harmoniously among the asteroids. In a way, we're still doing the same thing, finding problems, understanding systems, and patching things up. The scale is just a bit bigger. Speaking of bigger problems, Kira interrupted, we're receiving reports of unusual activity in the Cygnus sector. Something about spatial anomalies affecting civilian shipping lanes. Maya nodded, already feeling her mind shift into problem-solving mode. Send all the data to my console. Let's see what kind of engineering challenge we're dealing with this time. As Adaptable prepared to jump to its next destination, Maya reflected on how far she'd come from her days crawling through maintenance shafts. The galaxy was full of wonders and dangers, but at its core, every problem was just another system waiting to be understood. "Set course for the Cygnus sector," she commanded. "Let's see what needs fixing out there." The ship pulsed with acknowledgement, its organic systems now perfectly attuned to her. In the vast expanse of space, a former station engineer had found her calling not just as a commander, but as someone who could see the connections others missed, finding solutions in the most unexpected places. And somewhere out there, new challenges awaited, ready to test her unique blend of technical insight and human ingenuity. Regret/sorrow, the response came in waves of emotion and meaning. "Our awakening causes discord. The frequencies of your vessels clash with our natural resonance." Maya's engineering instincts kicked in. "Then let's find a way to adjust those frequencies. Work with us to create a harmonic balance." Over the next several hours, Maya and her crew worked with the resonance to understand their nature. They were ancient beings who existed in the spaces between normal space and time, communicating through quantum harmonics. Their recent awakening had unintentionally created the spatial anomalies. Using Adaptable's biomechanical systems as an interface, Maya helped establish protocols for safe passage through resonant space. It was like tuning a massive instrument, finding the right frequencies that would allow ships to pass safely through the being's domain. "There," Maya said finally, watching as the passenger liner they'd originally come to rescue made its way safely through the adjusted anomaly field. "How's that feeling?" "Harmony/satisfaction," came the resonant response. "Your understanding of vibration and flow is unexpected from such linear beings. Sometimes the best engineering solutions come from learning to work with natural systems rather than against them," Maya explained. "Whether it's power grids or quantum beings, everything has its own rhythm." Kira, who had been quiet during much of the exchange, finally spoke. "The Concordat will be very interested in establishing diplomatic relations with the resonance. Their understanding of spatial mechanics could revolutionize our understanding of the universe." "Acceptance/curiosity," the resonance replied. "We would share knowledge with those who can hear our song. The one called Maya has shown us that your species can adapt, can understand harmonies beyond your natural perception." As they prepared to depart, leaving behind a stable transit corridor through resonant space, Maya reflected on how far she'd come from her days of fixing mechanical problems on the station. "You know," Tom said, voicing her thoughts, "most people would have seen those anomalies as a threat to be eliminated. You saw them as a system to be understood. That's what engineering is really about," Maya replied, watching the beautiful patterns of resonant energy dance across their screens. "Not just fixing things, but understanding how they work, finding ways to make different systems work together harmoniously." "The Concordat chose well," Kira added. "Your species' adaptability, combined with your particular way of seeing problems, it brings new perspectives we hadn't considered." Maya smiled, feeling Adaptable systems pulse around her in perfect harmony with the resonance song. "We all have our frequencies to contribute. Speaking of which, we're receiving reports of unusual geological activity in the Helios cluster. Shall we go see what kind of tune that system is playing?" As they set course for their next destination, the resonance farewell echoed through their minds, harmony/hope/future. Maya couldn't help but agree. In a universe full of different beings, different systems, different ways of existing, sometimes the most important skill was learning to listen for the underlying rhythm that connected everything together. And maybe, just maybe, that's what humanity had to offer the galaxy, not just technical skills or problem-solving ability, but the capacity to find harmony in the most unexpected places. The greater pattern. 1 year into her command, Maya Chen stood before the Concordat High Council, her heart pounding but her voice steady. The vast chamber, with its swirling nebula ceiling and living architecture, still filled her with awe, but she was no longer the overwhelmed station engineer she'd once been. "Honorable Council," she began, "I stand before you not just as a commander, but as a representative of both humanity and the principles of practical problem-solving that have guided us through our greatest challenges. The council members, beings of various species and forms, watched with interest as she activated a holographic display showing her year's achievements: the pirate incident, the Vexen Meridian resolution, the resonant harmonization, and dozens of other successful missions. But today, I'm here to propose something more ambitious, Maya continued. Something that could change how we approach galactic challenges entirely. She gestured, and the display shifted to show a complex network of interconnected systems. During our missions, we've encountered countless civilizations, each with their own unique approaches to technology and problem-solving. What if we could create a framework to share this knowledge, not just through formal channels, but through practical, hands-on collaboration? First speaker XYL Thor, who had first recruited her, leaned forward. Elaborate, Commander Chen. Maya touched her console, and the display expanded to show her vision. I propose the creation of the Galactic Engineering Corps, a joint initiative that brings together technical experts from all member species. Not just for emergency response, but for proactive problem-solving and innovation. The chamber filled with murmurs as she explained her plan. Training programs that would pair engineers from different species, exchange programs to share unique technological perspectives, rapid response teams combining diverse expertise to tackle complex problems. Think about it, she urged. The Vexen's understanding of organic technology, combined with Meridian industrial efficiency. Human adaptability working alongside resonant quantum mechanics. Every species has something unique to contribute. A council member with crystalline features spoke up. An ambitious proposal, but how would this differ from our existing technological exchange programs? Maya smiled. Because this isn't just about sharing technology, it's about sharing ways of thinking. On Earth, some of our greatest innovations came from engineers looking at problems from completely new angles. Now imagine that on a galactic scale. She brought up footage from their recent missions. When we encountered the resonance, it wasn't advanced technology that solved the crisis, it was understanding basic principles of harmonic resonance. When we prevented war in the asteroid belt, it was by seeing connections others had missed. Tom, standing at her side, added technical data to the display as she spoke. The Corps would focus on practical solutions, not just theoretical knowledge. Teams would train together, learn to combine their unique perspectives, and be ready to tackle any challenge the galaxy throws at us. And you believe humanity has something significant to contribute to this initiative? Another council member asked. We do, Maya said firmly. Humans have a unique talent for improvisation, for finding unconventional solutions when conventional methods fail. We see patterns others might miss, connections between seemingly unrelated systems. She gestured to her own crew, human and alien, working seamlessly together. But more importantly, we're adaptable. We don't just accept new ideas, we integrate them, build on them, find ways to make different approaches work together. Kira stepped forward then, adding her own voice to Maya's proposal. I have served the Concordat for many cycles, and I can attest to the value of the human perspective. Commander Chen's methods may seem unorthodox, but they are undeniably effective. The council chambers fell silent as the members communicated in their own way, considering the proposal. Maya waited, remembering her first days on the station, fixing problems with whatever tools she had available. In a way, nothing had changed, she was still just trying to make systems work better together. Finally, XYL Thor spoke. The council has reached a decision. The Galactic Engineering Corps is approved, with you, Commander Chen, as its first director. Maya's heart leaped, but XYL Thor wasn't finished. However, we have an immediate challenge that will test this new initiative. We've detected a series of cascading failures in the quantum barriers protecting the Helios cluster. Multiple species, multiple technologies, all failing simultaneously. Show us how your core would handle such a crisis. Maya didn't hesitate. Adaptable, contact all allied vessels in the sector. I want a diverse team assembled within 3 hours. We'll need Vexen bioengineers, Meridian quantum specialists, and at least one resonant consciousness to analyze the barrier frequencies. She turned to her crew. Tom, start compiling data on similar barrier systems we've encountered. Kira, coordinate with Concordat archives, there might be historical precedents we can learn from. As her orders were carried out, Maya felt a familiar excitement building, the thrill of a complex problem waiting to be solved. But now she had more than just her own engineering skills to draw on. She had an entire galaxy of knowledge and perspectives to work with. One more thing, she added, surprising the council. We'll need to establish a training facility. Not just for technical skills, but for something more fundamental, teaching different species how to work together, how to combine their unique approaches into something greater than the sum of its parts. XY Thor's eyes sparkled with what might have been approval. And where would you propose to build this facility? Maya grinned. I know just the place, an aging orbital station around Earth. It's not pretty or particularly advanced, but it's the perfect environment for learning how to work with limited resources and find creative solutions. As the council session concluded and preparations for their mission to the Helios cluster began, Maya took a moment to appreciate how far she'd come. From fixing pressure leaks to establishing a galactic institution, it was quite a journey for a simple engineer. But in the end, the principles remained the same: understand the systems, find the connections, and never be afraid to try unconventional solutions. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but with every species contributing its unique perspective, there was no problem they couldn't solve together. Ready to save another piece of the galaxy? Tom asked as they headed back to Adaptable. Maya looked at her crew, human and alien, each bringing their own skills and viewpoints to the team. Always. After all, these systems aren't going to fix themselves. As Adaptable prepared to jump to the Helios cluster, Maya felt more confident than ever. The future would bring new challenges, new problems to solve, new systems to understand. But with the combined knowledge and creativity of multiple species working together, they'd find solutions nobody had ever imagined before. And that, she realized, was the greatest engineering project of all, building bridges not just between technologies, but between civilizations, creating something greater than any one species could achieve alone. The legacy of stars would continue, written not in the language of conquest or competition, but in the universal mathematics of innovation and cooperation. And Maya Chen, former station engineer turned galactic problem solver, would help write its next chapter.